Hello, everyone. I am Tacet, and welcome to the Gems of War Tower of Doom stream, Week 7, Day 5. However, we're already done with Tower of Doom, though, as the title suggests, what we aren't done with is 350 are all Arcanes, and we only have one left. It is the Skull one, and by one left, I mean literally one left. We only have one category left, and we only need one more of that one. So, yeah, we'll definitely have that within, like, 5 minutes. So, hopefully. Doesn't take that long. But, yeah, then that will be all Arcanes completed. So 350. Obviously, it's never completed. Not completed until we know how many trait stones we need once they finally add a trait stone sync. If you're wondering why I keep keeping them even like that, it is because we are getting a trait stone sync sometime this year. Mentioned it quite a few times. We have no clue what on earth it's going to be. Like, what kind of reward it will give, what kind of cost it will have, or how much it will actually sync. But just in case it's near infinite, we are getting a bunch of every single Arcane, just to make sure. It's not really that big of a priority to make sure to have it before the patch or anything like that, whenever it does come. It's probably at minimum like 2 patches away, if not longer. But just in case, still grinding them out. That's what we'll have to do later. But hello, everyone. Hello, William. Hello, Ian. Hello, Haley. Hello, Mr. Jesse. Hello, Skeleton King. Hello, Dennis. Hello, Cosmic. Hello, everyone else. Welcome. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Of course, one of our main priorities, obviously, is, well, other than getting our 350th base Arcane, so now we have 350 all, but that didn't take long. It 5 minutes, took like 1 minute. But, the other objective, of course, is to try to get Vault Keys. We're currently only at 2. What kind of numbers are you guys at right now? Someone said earlier they were already at 12, but they were doing it for, like, every moment of the event so far. So they were still way above the drop rate, which is pretty cool. But, yeah, what kind of keys are you guys at so far? Yeah, we're only at 2. 2 total. After, what is it, 3-4 hours? No, it's more to 4 hours. After 4 hours or so right now, we're at a total of 2. So not doing too good this time around. As long as we can aim for about 10 this weekend, it'd be nice. Not sure if we'll actually be able to reach it, but that's normally the goal. Often not. My main priority is this to level 100 and the other hero class to level 70. As long as we get that done, then we're pretty much good to go. I do have an indirect goal of getting Warden upgraded. Of course, right now we're working on Sentinel, obviously. But I do want to get over to Warden. The main reason for Warden is mainly because of the change that's happening soon with this team that we're using right now. Soon it's going to be changing Forest Guardian out for a half-mana Elemental start rather than a half-mana Beast start. And if we end up doing that, we can no longer get half-mana start on Warden, a weapon, if we end up using a Warden weapon there. So while we're still using the Forest Guardian version, I kind of want to have... get that done, the Warden hero class, simply because as soon as we have the new elemental thing coming next faction, we will no longer ever need to bother with Forest Guardian in this team, because using a elemental there would give us the elemental bonus, and that would give Sunbird, I think, like 3 additional damage. Actually, what is the extra amount? I keep like mentioning a number, but I never actually checked. I need any elemental. There we go. Doesn't matter what it is. What's our bonus right now? Yeah, that's how much extra stats we would get just from having the new elemental that's coming in. So that's 6 additional Sunbird damage. It's 3 extra attack and 6 additional HP, assuming you have the elemental pet thingy maxed. But yeah, that's quite a bit. And of course, we don't have elemental hero class yet, nor will we for a while, unfortunately. But that would make it go even higher. But as soon as that new troop comes out in, I think it was the 17th, May 17th, we will then have 6 extra HP onto our Sunbird for every battle here. But until then, we go with Forest Guardian, which is why we need to get Warden done as well sometime between now and then, ideally. Doesn't have to be like that, but obviously wouldn't want to use a weaker team when we could be using a stronger team, because now we no longer have 6 HP and 3 attack. Of course, that 6 HP, 3 attack isn't possible currently, which is why we'd want to get it done now. Or at least in the near future, obviously not all this weekend. That is definitely not happening. That's like 15 hours of grind we still have on Warden. Actually, more than 15. It's more like 17, actually. 16, 17. He's not even halfway there yet. And halfway is about 14 hours. Let's see. We'll throw that down. Hello, analyst. Hello, D. Welcome, welcome. 0, hardly any gnomes. I've been getting normal gnome rates. I just haven't been getting that many Volkies from the gnomes. I know our gnome rate has been pretty decent. We've been getting around 1,500 glory per hour. We've been getting a decent amount of the other gnomes. Yeah, gnomes have been going decent as far as the actual rate of them. Just Volkies are a little bit below average at the moment. Finally spent time to get the level 500 on Hall of Guardians. Delve, only pure faction left to do. Very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, I still haven't gone on like the excessive level 500 faction grind yet. I might be soon. I'll be doing it for every new faction that comes out, I believe. Simply because we're already going to throw down to like tier 6 anyway, so in order to get the emoji and everything. So I might as well just go all the way since less effort we'll have to spend later to try to get a level 500 pure faction. But I don't know, Potions really made it pretty easy now. Get level 500s. Of course, that does add a gem cost to it. But when you're doing it during an event like that, you're pretty much already spending a decent amount of gems towards it, so might as well just go a little bit further and just go all the way for 500. Hey, that reminds me, what's the coloration of next faction? I don't think I ever checked yet. I want to see if we can use Iron Gut. That'd be a little bit weird if we have to use Zugaf the entire way up. Let's see. I'm gonna double check right now. Where would I even go to check that? I guess Kingdoms, because Kingdoms are now factions. And the color of it is... Does it not say? Oh, it's +2 blue, +1 red. So it's blue-red. Oh no, it's blue-red. That means... didn't we already have a blue-red faction? I could have sworn we already had a blue-red faction. Maybe it was blue-brown. But I could have sworn we had blue-red as well. Anyways, yeah, that means no Iron Gut. Also means no Sylvania Moore and stuff like that. However, I guess it's finally time to test out the solo Zugaf. Because one thing that we can use is Mountain Crusher, Zugaf, something else, and Possessed King. And roll with that. See how that functions. Yeah, we might need to try doing some solo Zugaf delves then. For the later delves. Could be an interesting color combination. That's May 17th. And pretty much everything in the faction, I believe, is elementals, right? Because if they made it elementals, I don't see why the entire kingdom wouldn't be. They added one of the troops at half mana star all. All the troops from the kingdom are elemental monster, elemental undead, elemental construct, and one that's just an elemental with nothing else attached. But yeah, quite a bit of elementals, to say the least. They're all elemental, which makes sense if they're giving literally a half mana start to all elementals. Oh, wait, duh. Yeah, never mind. He covers blue. I don't know why I always think he covers green. I still do not know why I think he covers green, but never mind. Yeah, we can use Iron Gut with Zugaf. I always remember that Zugaf is blue, red, purple, but for whatever reason, I always think Iron Gut is like brown, yellow, green, or something. I'm not sure what I'm thinking. But yeah, you're right. It does use blue, so we would be able to use the full Iron Gut team actually, even Apothecary and everything. We could just run standard Mountain Crusher, Apothecary. High King, Iron Gut, Possessed King, or if you don't have Possessed King, Sylvania Mora. And if you want to upgrade even further from that, if you own it, you can run Mountain Crusher, High King, Iron Gut, Zugaf, and Possessed King. What's my take on Obsidius? It is insanely good. It's basically an alternative Infernus. I still feel like Infernus in most situations is going to be better than it. However, there are definitely instances where Obsidius is better than Infernus. It's basically an alternative version of Infernus that can also be used with Infernus. And it might even make for some new meta elemental teams. Because Infernus no longer is allowed to have half mana start. It only has 40% mana start now. However, you put that elemental thing on it and it'll have half mana start again. The only thing that's really missing is we do not currently have an elemental hero class, unfortunately. But using Titan with that one elemental final trait would be the next best thing. Unfortunately, we still don't have elemental class. Otherwise, it would quite literally be new meta for sure, 100% if there was. But it's probably going to be pretty high up there. The kind of teams that you can end up building out of it. Because starting both of those troops, Infernus and the new troop, with half mana, plus having Hero with half mana, feeding them more magic, plus having just the other troop. Well, actually, what does that other troop do? I'm forgetting. The one that's actually feeding them half mana. Troop that feeds them half mana does... well, of course, its unique trait is half mana start to all elementals. Has 25% spell reduction. And it deals... Wait, this is the... Oh, never mind. Sorry, that's the epic. Whoops, my bad. Wrong one. Wait, where is the legendary? There it is. The legendary is an elemental construct. It does 50% mana start to all elementals. It has 33% score reduction. And it curses all enemies and then converts all green gems to Doom Skulls. Oh, wow. I didn't actually realize he was even that good as well. Not only is it a Doom Skull creator, but it has cursed all enemies. And the relevant part about that is, of course, Infernus and Obsidius both have a they both have a status effect. And what's even more relevant about that is the other one has stun, which does allow you to stun things with Impervious then, because if you curse them, they will no longer have their immune, and then you can stun them so that they don't have any traits forever. So, not just their immunity traits. So basically, you use curse to get rid of their immunity traits, and then you use the stun to get rid of literally all their traits. That's gonna be interesting to see how that pans out then. I didn't even realize that aspect, but yeah, we have curse on it. Plus, they both have score reduction. The elemental has 33% reduction, and Obsidius has 50%. Just your hero and Infernus wouldn't have reduction. So hero technically has barrier every start if you, or barrier every brown if you're using something like Titan. So really only Infernus wouldn't have protection. Yeah, it should pan out to be pretty decent, the new Mythic. So if I'm not mistaken, aren't we getting the Mythic before we're getting the thing that will actually make it decent though? So it's going to be kind of weird, because when we get the new Mythic on May 3rd, which is, well, next Friday, we are not going to have the synergy piece that actually makes him really good, which seems kind of weird. But, yeah, the synergy piece for him doesn't come in until 2 weeks later. The elemental that feeds him half mana start. So for 2 weeks, the new Mythic will kind of be average, for the most part. But after those 2 weeks, it'll become insanely good. The kind of teams that you can end up synergizing it with. But for the first 2 weeks, it's just going to be kind of an average little stunner. It's going to be a weird video, too. Because it doesn't become meta until, well, 2 weeks after the fact. Which is not possible to show immediately. I'll still figure out something for it that doesn't use the half mana start. Let's see. You were wondering how people average 60 plus points per game in PvP. I have no... It has something to do with the point exploitation. Which is actually, you are allowed to actually do it, even though it is technically exploiting the system slightly. The easiest way to do it, to my understanding, is set your defend team to as lowest as a possible score as you possibly can. Also, if you're looking at lower level players, that's another reason why. Lower level player, one of the things that determines the amount of points is the level difference. So if you're like a level 200, fighting a level 1300, and you have teams that can actually kill that level 1300, you're going to be getting like 50, 60 points per battle or so. As far as people that are capable of doing an end game, I'm not sure. There is some kind of exploit system that allows it to be done, that some people have figured out. It has something to do with defend teams and a couple other factors. Level is one of the factors, but there's also several others that you can manipulate to get the points to be higher. Okay, we'll take that for now, and then we'll kill that out, and then we'll get over glory. Please be 1,000, if not a vault key. 500, I'll take it. At least it's not 200. Just got a major orb of chaos from a vault key. Do you know the percent chance of that? I don't know the exact percent, but it's actually pretty high. They ended up buffing the rate of orbs off of vault keys about 5 months back, I believe it was. And they drastically increased the chance of finding an orb and a major orb. Actually, so much so that we only opened 2 vault keys so far, and both of them were a small orb. But small orbs and major orbs, well, I don't know their exact drop rate. They make up like 40 to 50% of drop table, it feels like. Maybe more towards 40. But sometimes it feels like almost 100% some days for some vault events. But no, it's relatively high. I don't know the exact percent on it. I want to say a major orb is like 1 in 8, maybe? 1 in 10, 1 in 8, somewhere around there. Pretty high. I don't think we know the exact drop table. Well, we know what its drop table is. I mean, we don't know the percents for its drop table, I should say. We know all the drops. We just don't know what the percents are or how they're weighted. There we go. So we keep getting a bunch of reds. We do not need to kill reds. We already did that like 2 times over, and by the end of this weekend, it's probably going to be like 4 or 5 times or even more over. It's always so easy to get whatever the event objective is whenever there's a vault event. Especially if it's one that can be done in Explore. Also, I'm starting to hate this troop, the Tina. At 50% spell reduction almost always survives. It basically just doubles its durability to cast damage. Which makes it pretty much unkillable with 1 hit. There we go. Okay, next order of business. Let's see. Also, how's the hero class doing? Actually, I'm not gonna bother checking it. We'll get it when we get it. And the only other objective we really need to get done today, because we did most of them earlier off stream, the only other thing we need to go do is our delves. And lately, of course, we've been, we actually switched our team the other day, officially, to now doing this team for all of them. Mountain Crusher, Apothecary, Tina, Arachnine, Weaver. We're just rolling with that for all of them now. And we still aren't getting any Cedric rooms. Anyways, I'll deal with that later. If I even deal with it at all. Maybe we might just invest the time into Vault instead. Or, you know, into trying to get Vault keys. Okay, so I technically don't need to be farming this kingdom anymore, but I guess we'll go a little bit further on it. Or then again, maybe I should go farm the next legendary up. Because we're going to orb the mythic. However, what's the biggest next expense that we're going to be having from a trade stone perspective? It seems like it's going to be... Let's see, what's our next legend? I guess it would be the one from the kingdom then. Let's see. Yeah, it would be the one from the kingdom. So our next biggest expense would be blue-red. What is our blue-red number currently looking at? That'd be Mrs. Scales. Let's see. Where do I check that again? Blue over here, over here. Our blue-red at? Because we're going to cost 16 of them. Oh no, our blue-reds are healthy enough that that won't matter. Never mind, let's just go back to Droxium for now. Yeah, that number is going to go down by 16 when we go do the legend from the new faction in 2 weeks, or 3 weeks at this point. Next week is new legend. I mean, new mythic, I mean. Next Friday, and then 2 Fridays from there is the new faction. It isn't until that new faction when we can actually start really utilizing that troop. There you go, throw that down, and dead. Using the hero to level a class instead of a faster team. There really isn't much of a faster team than this. What would you use that's faster? Yes, there are some battles where it becomes slower because we are using hero there. But if we can get immediate Sunbird... Okay, we didn't get it there. But if we can get immediate Sunbird off of 1 Firebomb and kill the entire team, it's not going any slower with hero than without hero. But no, it's mainly there to gain EXP, of course. So we can level all the hero classes within the game. It's one of the best methods to level all the hero classes in the game. Is wait until a vault event and then spam like crazy using any team, quick team with a hero in it. But no, most of these battles don't go any slower from hero being in there. Maybe I should have taken that 4 times. I normally don't just because you can normally get enough off the explosion, but apparently that time it is not the case. Yeah, move that over, grab all that mess, get a Sunbird down. Throw it right into some splits. The new mythic is not the one that was originally on the spoiler threads. They end up changing it. The new mythic is Obsidious, not that one weird Devour one. Yeah, Obsidius is the new one that's going to be coming in. It's a elemental contract. I actually forget what was it. It was elemental something. It's elemental, or wait, not that one. There it is. It's Daemon Elemental. I was looking at the wrong one for a second. I was like, wait, that's a Daemon Beast, but no, it's a Daemon Elemental. Of course, Daemons don't have any elemental start currently. I mean, Daemons don't have any percent start, but Elementals do, or they will on May 17th. Yeah, they changed the order that they were originally going to do. Now we're getting basically Infernus 2.0 on 2 Fridays from now. Oh wait, sorry, not 2 Fridays from now. Next Friday, I mean. Starting to lose track of all the dates. Okay, let's take a red for now, I guess. Didn't get it. He'll do a thing. We'll take brown. There were some splits everywhere. It is true, yes, that any Princess Elspeth team does have the quickest win in the entire game. Nothing can win quicker than a Princess Elspeth one-shotting a single thing into full mana immediately. The only real big reason that I don't ever use Elspeth and I always use Firebomb, well, there's 2 of them. One is she doesn't have any upfront damage, which if you were to try to use it in a team like this, it wouldn't work. But the biggest issue that she has is if she misses. If a Firebomb misses, you're still getting mana. Like, right there, we pretty much missed, but we still got mana, obviously. The problem with Elspeth is if she misses, you're basically wasting a bunch of time because the enemy has to take 2 or 3 extra turns from your miss, and you gain literally no mana whatsoever. Whereas Firebomb at minimum is getting you like 3 mana, if not more. And it can still hit like that and still get you a cast down. And yes, while this team is ever so slightly slower as far as its quickest possible win, we have tested it in the past, and unless something drastic has changed in recent time, it is quicker to run Firebomb Sunbird or similar teams than it is to run Elspeth into one of those +5 stat troops. Just because of her inconsistency of eventually missing. Even if she hits 9 out of 10 battles, the amount of time you lose on that one battle, it makes it so it's overall slower per hour. Even though its average win is slower, but its highest possible win is quicker for the Elspeth team. But because its overall per hour rate is slower, you normally just run Sunbird instead. The only time you'd really bring her out is if you maybe needed like 1 trait stone. You might want to bring her out. But if you're doing it for long durations of time, the Sunbird Firebomb, or really anything based around Firebomb, then generally tends to be the way to go. I don't know, I could test it again, but we did extensive testing on it in the past. And Firebomb does come out to be quicker than Elspeth from the testing we did. So maybe we'll test it again sometime in the near future. Not this weekend, though. You ended up substituting Leprechaun for Firebomb. Yes, you can run Leprechaun instead of Firebomb. Depending on what team you're running, Leprechaun is better than Firebomb. The main reason I'm using Firebomb is we're banking on one-shot Sunbird. But if you're not capable of doing one-shot Sunbird, if you're using a team like Sunbird, Rowan, then you're probably going to want to go Sunbird, Rowan, Leprechaun, and Hero using whatever, just so you gain Hero EXP. But yes, in instances like those where you're using multiple things that need a lot of mana, or if you don't have like half mana start to be able to give your Sunbird or something, yes, you would want to go down the route of using Leprechaun instead. There are instances where Leprechaun is faster than Firebomb. Though if you're in late game to the point where you can one-shot the entire team, well, obviously we didn't get it there, but normally we are capable of getting a one-shot the entire team. And if you're to the point where you have enough stats where that's possible, Firebomb does work out slightly better than Leprechaun. But if you're still in early game, like for example, if my Nintendo Switch version had a Leprechaun, we'd be using Leprechaun instead of Firebomb. Unfortunately, Leprechaun does not exist on that version of the game. But yes, in that instance, Leprechaun would be better because you would just go Sunbird, Rowan, and wipe them out. That would be enough damage to kill them out. You wouldn't need Firebomb's extra damage. But in this instance, we actually do utilize Firebomb's extra damage to one-shot Sunbird, or at least attempt to one-shot Sunbird. Yeah, you can use it with this composition as well. I guess we could test that at some point. I never did do a lot of testing to see if it was quicker. I know you'd be gaining slightly more gold if you use Leprechaun. I know that wouldn't make too big a difference, but hey, it adds up. Okay, this battle's going a little bit slower. Let's take that skull there and be good to go from there. But yeah, we'll test it eventually, I guess. We can maybe do it a little bit later this weekend. My biggest concern with that is 25 less damage would make it so we don't kill a lot of these starting battles. And it was killed out with that. Is VIP 6 any good? No, there's really no need to go to 6. 3, 4, and 5 are the main stopping points. The only reason I currently have VIP 6 is just because, well, we have VIP 6. I just happen to have spent that much money that it just ended up going from 5 to 6. But there's no real immediate need or really any need at all to bother getting VIP 6. 3, 4, and 5 are like the main stopping points. Anything beyond that starts to have quite a bit diminishing returns as far as the benefit you get relative to the amount of money. Yeah, I guess I could check the Leprechaun team out again once we have the +6 elemental thing. Because I'd be curious to see which way it actually is quicker at that point. But I'm pretty sure even without the extra 6 damage, this is still quicker. But I will probably wait until then to test it, just so we know for sure. Because for all intensive purposes into the future, we're going to be having that troop in like 3 weeks, so for pretty much the foreseeable future, or at least every vault event past this vault event, we're going to be able to have 6 extra damage on Sunbird, which will be a factor that would come into play. Actually, it'd probably come into play both ways. Oh, wait, no, it wouldn't, because you wouldn't be able to get that damage bonus without having Firebomb, which is the whole point of Firebomb, actually, at least in that context. I don't know, we can still test it then and see what happens. If I go do Leprechaun right now, let me actually just put that in there. Put a Leprechaun in there. Like, we're going to get a lot more mana. The biggest issue here is you're going to notice we're going to be around, more so than often than not, we're going to be even more normally around 20 to 25 damage off. And if there's any battle where we're around 25 damage off or less from being able to get a kill, that basically meant Firebomb would have got us the kill. However, this does accumulate way more mana. Like, way more mana. Like, Sunbird 100% of the time going to be full mana kind of mana. So their Firebomb would have killed, but we do have the follow-up immediately. So maybe that makes up for it some. But I never actually did test Leprechaun extensively yet, though. But here we won't kill, whereas we would have with Firebomb. And it's instances like these, which I believe slows it down enough that it's not worth it. I'm not sure. So if you had a half-mana hero class start, I guess it would be a little bit more beneficial. But yeah, I guess actually that would probably be the case. If you're using a half-mana start hero class, you are probably correct that Leprechaun actually would be ever so slightly better. The biggest issue here, though, is we're not. So we need to use Firebomb. Because every single hero class we have left, other than Shaman, does not have half-mana start, or at least not naturally. Like, obviously, some hero classes we can give half-mana start. Like, for example, if we use Warden here, even though Warden doesn't naturally have half-mana start, well, it does with Forest Guardian. But, I guess technically we have 2 more hero classes that technically have half-mana start, since that Leprechaun there would still use a Forest Guardian. But, I don't know. I think that would require you to have half-mana start on your hero. The main reason being is you would need Leprechaun to 100% of the time get your Imperial Jewel up, so that you can use Imperial Jewel as your Firebomb. And then just do Sunbird, Imperial Jewel, and then win from there and repeat. But if you need all 20 of the mana, Leprechaun is most likely not going to feed that 20 mana. But it can definitely feed it 10 mana pretty consistently. I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm not using half mana start, but you're doing it with half mana start. And since we have to currently do it without half mana start, I think this team does work out a little bit better. But yeah, if you're doing it with Leprechaun, yes, you would obviously go with half mana start. But we're currently not. So I believe this works out slightly better. I'm not sure. I haven't actually tested that yet, but from what I can tell, it does when we don't have the half mana start. Okay, he just got a lot of durability. Neither of those two teams would have been able to kill this one. We'll throw that for now. We're still gonna need a follow-up. There we go, and then we just do it with anything. Because there's no way in the current composition we're using to half mana start. Actually, no, that's a lie. There actually is a way to half mana start this hero class. We can use that one Urska half mana start troop. Unfortunately, there's no good Urska first slot that can clean. Eight Orb of Powers for Zugaf. Wow. Maybe a year of grinding. Oh yeah, it takes about a year. On average, it takes people about a year. I think it took us 13, 14 months or so, but that's mainly because we got really unlucky towards the end of it. But yeah, I think it took us about 14 months. But on average, I think it takes people about a year or so to get a Zugaf. It is the hardest thing in the entire thing to obtain. Though ever since the most recent patch, it is now meta for some things. And by some things, I mean basically just... I mean basically just delves. You run it for... going from around level 250 to 500 in several different delves. Pretty much any location where he's usable, you would run him. He's probably most noteworthy in Primal Rift and Crypt. Because if I'm not mistaken, those are the only two locations that do not allow High King Iron Gut, but do allow for Zugaf. Thank you, Marcus. Greatly appreciated. Okay, we'll go get a kill there, just so we don't have to deal with his bag. I mean, deal with his bag. But to get the bag, secure the bag, and then we'll go and get ourselves the only pitiful 200 glory. That's unfortunate. Too bad that wasn't 1,000. But oh well. Still 10 glory keys. 10 glory keys is basically a gem key. So still good. Okay, now we have no option. The lack of option. Imperial Jewel actually would be enough to kill right now. But of course, we're deliberately not running with half mana star at the moment to get Sentinel up. Gotta get it up somehow. And this is technically the quickest way, even if it makes the battle slightly slower without having half mana. Will event keys be the better choice to spend to get the new mythic compared to gem keys? No. The event keys will have a 0% chance to get the new mythic. Event keys always have 0% chance to get the new mythic that comes out. Event keys will only drop the mythic from the kingdom. Or the mythics from the kingdom very soon, because soon kingdoms are going to start having 2 mythics. Like, for example, Droxzoom is going to have 2 starting next Friday. But, no, only if it's the event week. And I don't believe next week is a Droxzoom event week. Or I don't think it is. Wait, let me double check. Is it? No, it is not. It's going to be the week that's coming out in Urskea event week. But, yeah, it will not be in the event key drop table. What will be in the event key drop table is, what's his name? Oh, wow, I forget that name of that Urska now. It's that one that has Devour. 225% chances to Devour. Wow, why do I forget his name? It's because he's so useless and not really used. But, I completely forget his name off the top of my head. But that would be the mythic in the event key drop table. The new mythic that's coming out next Friday is only in the Glory Gem Guild and VIP chest. It is not in Gold chest and is not in event chest. But the thing that would be in event chest next week, even once the new mythic comes out, would be, let's see, where'd it go? I forget his name. How do we even bring him up easily? I guess Enrage would bring him up pretty easy. There he is. Doomclaw, that's his name. But Doomclaw is in the event key drop table all next week. but you will not be able to find a new mythic in it. Only the new mythic will be starting next Friday. It'll be in the Glory Gem Guild and VIP chest. It will not be in the event key chest. Only the Doomclaw will be in the event key chest for next week. Think they will ever have a trait that has 20% chance to dodge and a non-skull attack? What do you mean? Oh, you mean like a spell? No, probably not. Well, actually, maybe. It would probably not dodge stats effects, but it could probably dodge the damage. I don't think they would actually be able to code it properly to dodge literally everything. Like, if something tries casting on you with a single target or even AoE, and it would negate out literally everything, no. I don't think they would be able to code that properly. I have high confidence that they would not. That would be so ridiculously glitchy if they tried doing it. And it's mainly because of how the code is within the game. They would probably have to do a lot of work to get that in, and it probably wouldn't be worth the time. But no, I highly doubt something like that would ever come. And if it did, it would only dodge the damage. It would not dodge the other aspects of the ability. Like, for example, it would dodge the damage, but it wouldn't dodge its 40% chance to devour, most likely, on something like that ability. I don't know. Maybe they eventually would, but I highly doubt it. They can't even get Submerged to kind of do a similar thing properly. But I guess Submerged technically is kind of like it, but even Submerged doesn't work properly. There's still a lot of glitches with Submerged that, well, not necessarily glitches, but things that it technically kind of should work for, but that it doesn't. There were glitches with it in the past, but I believe they patched most of them. I don't know, I guess maybe they could do it then. It just seems like something that would be hard for them to code, though. And it probably wouldn't be worth their time. But you never know, we might eventually get it. Same thing kind of happened with spell reduction. It would take them a while to code that, just because of how it's set up. And it was even glitched when it first came out during the beta. I don't think it was whenever it came into the game, but they actually did fix it before it ever came live, luckily. But yeah, even that was glitched when it was first made. Same as Submerge. Like, every single thing that they've made similar to that mechanic has been bugged initially. I don't know, it seems like something they might eventually do, you never know. Because if they don't do it, spells will just, over time, just become bigger and bigger. That's why they started adding things that now have spell reduction. Because otherwise, everything would just become cast meta. No one would ever use skulls if everything has skull mitigation and dodge, but nothing has spell methods. Level 96, almost there. 4 more levels to go, and then we can finally use a half-mana start hero class with this. Once we actually get Sentinel done, I think we will go switch to Leprechaun and just test it out for a little bit just to see. Because this is the last time we can ever even use Leprechaun. Because from here forth, every Vault event, we will be using Firebomb. Because of the elemental plus 6 HP and plus 3 attack that it gives. And I would definitely prefer having Firebomb into plus 6 damage Sunbird. Because we would have won right there, as well as many other similar battles that would have won due to that 6 damage increase. Oh yeah, we're probably never getting in-game chat, unfortunately. I mean, in-game private messages, I mean. Obviously we have in-game chat. But, you know, in-game private messages are probably never going to become a thing. Hello, Original. Welcome. Which is unfortunate. Okay. Let's see. We'll get the Firebomb down for now. Also, we'll hand out the next Vault Key. Let's see. What should we base it on? I guess we'll hand out next Vault Key based on... I mean, not next Vault Key. I mean, next redeem code. I don't even know what to base it on this time around. We already did most of the objectives we need, other than stuff that's going to be like ridiculously hard to actually reach this time frame. And I'm able to do it based on next hero level or next vault key, whichever one comes first. Those are the only two that would become somewhat not an excessive amount of time. Obviously, we won't go all the way to 100 right now. I do want to try finishing that tonight, though. I'll probably, ideally, I want to get it to 99 tonight, and then first thing we do next stream is get it to 100, and then start working on Warden instead of Sentinel, since Sentinel would already be completed. Well, Friends List is a private messaging system, kind of. But yeah, I guess they technically could add a friends list, but not have a private messaging system. Like a friends list that tells you if that person is online, and it tells you what global chat they're in, if they're in a global chat. Because that would make it so it's... Oh, you know what? I wonder if anyone has ever proposed that to them. Since they are really adamant about not doing a private messaging system. The problem with that is I believe it has privacy issues with the console versions of the game. But they could just make it slightly different on the console versions. Like, I believe that would be an issue on PS4 or Xbox One or both. But they could do something like that. They'll have a friends list, not have private messaging system, but have it so you can check your friend's profile, have it so you can see what global chat they're in, and stuff like that. So while it wouldn't directly be private messaging, you could just go, hey, see that they're in global one. Oh, stream just went down. Come back, stream. Come back. Okay, stream's back. But yeah, for example, if you had that info and you saw they're in global chat 2, you can go over to global chat 2, message spam them a little bit until they get your attention. Then, like, coordinate with them. Hey, let's go to global chat, whatever, 367. And while that's not technically private messaging, it's close enough. But that seems like something they would consider implementing. Because it wouldn't have all the issues with private messaging, or at least not as many. And it would still get kind of what people want, which is a way to kind of see, you know, keep track of people. Other than doing it through other means, like Discord and other things. Because there's no good method in-game to do it. Okay, we'll throw that down. Take that into Sunbird, and we should be good to go. Yeah, something like that would definitely be interesting. Because they're definitely not adding direct private messaging. But something along the lines of that does seem like something they would consider. Probably wouldn't come anytime soon, even if they do consider it. Probably be like early next year. But if they even do it at all. But I don't know, it seems like something they might do. They're having a Q&A pretty soon too. Salty mentioned last stream on Tuesday that she's going to try coordinating another Q&A soon. So maybe during that Q&A, we can go ask that. Since they're not adding a friends list, could they at least, or I mean, since they're not adding private messaging, could they at least add a friends list that shows online status with option to turn it off, and maybe just not have it for consoles if it's that big of an issue. And, you know, just be able to, you know, show global chat, what global chat they're in, and other stuff like that. So if nothing else, you can at least use a global chat system to have private messaging, even though it technically isn't. There we go. Alright, we're getting a lot of Celestials all of a sudden. Also, we finally have enough Arcane Light Trait Stones. Yeah, we now have more Arcane Lights than Celestials, which is pretty sad. But it happened the other day. I believe it was Thursday, actually. Thursday night. But we finally have enough Arcane Lights that we now have more than Celestials, which is absolutely insane. I think it's at 870 at this point, somewhere around there. Some kind of absurd amount. Working towards 1,000. Though we're pretty close. We'll have 1,000 of it within like another month and a half, 2 months. We'll have it before Celestials hit 1,000. Unless we get a lot of Celestials out of nowhere. Didn't catch the start of what? Was my streaming software acting up? Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. I am switching it very, 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 very soon. I feel like the date just keeps shifting slightly. But hopefully by Monday, for Monday night stream. I'll probably test it maybe for Sunday night. Or maybe like a little mini stream on Monday morning or something. I'm not sure. But ideally I want to have it by by Monday night. For next week's event week. Definitely by the end of this month, that's for sure. It is by the end of this month, right? Yeah, Tuesday's the end of this month. Yeah, definitely by the end of this month I want to get it up. There's just several things I need to test with it before I ever start using it, though. But the program should work better than what we're using now. How much better, we'll find out, but it should to some degree work better. Yeah, there's really no way to contact people who you're trying to recruit. You have to do it either through global, with a bunch of other people also trying to recruit, or you have to do it in like external methods, like using the Gems of War forum or Discord or something else. Normally the Gems of War forum, I feel like, is the one. It is probably the two most utilized places for it. Gems of War forum because it's the only location that basically has proper private messaging for that purpose. Plus, it has a bunch of recruitment threads there, so you can just contact them directly there. And the global chats are like the two main locations used for it. Well, I've used OBS for recording my videos. Like every Monday video you ever seen, any guide video I ever do, except for ones that use Nintendo Switch, because I'll probably keep using this program for that, or the new one I'm switching to, because it doesn't really have a good way to properly capture, well, it does, it's just being a little bit buggy, and I need to find the fix for it. But I use OBS for recording videos. I use OBS Studio, both of these, all three of these are free, by the way. I use OBS Studio for streams, that's what I'm currently using right now, as we speak. And I'm switching to Streamlabs OBS when we're switching later next week. Not sure how much of a performance improvement it'll have, but at minimum it'll make it so I don't have to have as many tabs open, because I wouldn't need a tabs for notifications. The notifications would be directly integrated into it rather than having to have it like through an external program. The chat system, I believe I can even have up on screen rather than having to have Chrome open. I might still have Chrome open in order to, you know, check redeem code, claim redeem code, check things like Terran's World and other locations that might have guide-like stuff or spoilers. But it would make it so I wouldn't need to necessarily have YouTube open, if I'm not mistaken. Whereas with how I currently have this set up, I actually do need to have YouTube open because I need to be able to see chat. And there's really no proper way of seeing it in a different screen. Like, obviously it's showing up on screen, but it doesn't have, like, a really big one that I can actually scroll through or anything if I had it like that. Whereas I would be able to if I had it with the other program. Because that just puts the chat, I believe it has an overlay for it. That allows you to take either your Twitch chat or your YouTube chat or whatever platform you're doing on and have, like, a gigantic scroll-through box. Kind of like exactly how it is on YouTube without needing to have Chrome or any browser open whatsoever. Basically, it'll condense down every tab I have open, which is like 3 right now, down to 1 tab. We haven't had a single gnome escape us so far. Also, that's one of the other reasons why you don't use Elspeth, by the way. You can immediately feed a gnome full mana to escape. That, I believe, almost never happens with Firebomb. We haven't had a single gnome escape from this team for a very, very long time. Definitely not once during this event. That's one of the problems with Elspeth as well. Because she does miss. It's only a matter of time before she misses. It doesn't matter what kind of boards you're getting. You're eventually going to end up missing with her. I believe it's about 1 in 10 as far as what her miss rate is. But you're eventually going to miss. And when you do, you're going to feed gnomes. You're going to feed them mana. It's going to waste time. It's one of the biggest things against ever using an Elspeth version of one of these teams. Leprechaun doesn't have that issue. Leprechaun and Firebomb don't have it as badly. Though it can technically still happen with them as well. But Elspeth has a really huge issue with that. Come on, there we go. Throw that down and dead. Come on, we're all the Volkies. Okay, well, I'll probably hand out a redeem code at the 1 hour mark. At this point, if we don't get a Volkey soon. And then we'll just keep streaming until we get a level 1 hero. And then call it a night. Or at least for streaming anyways. I'll probably still be grinding a little bit at it here and there. Then we'll start back tomorrow morning and go from there, around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and see what kind of grinds we can get done. Because I do have something I need to go do at 9:30 tonight, so I need to make sure I'm off by then. Okay, I'll move that over. Get a Sunbird down, take that down. Grab Sunbird, and there we go. Trying to trait your Titan first. Only 2 more Arcanes to go. Generally, you want to use orange orbs if you have some spare oranges. Though if you already went that far, you might as well just keep getting Arcanes for it. But the way you normally do Legends and Mythics, especially in early game, but as well as just throughout the entirety of the game, is you use major orange orbs on Mythics only, or for eventual Zugoth. You use small oranges for the 2nd and 3rd trait of Legends and Mythics. And ever so occasionally, you use a small orange orb in early game for the 2nd trait of Epics, because that's the one that costs the highest amount of Arcanes. It costs 8 Arcanes, whereas the last one only takes 4. Those are the only 3 instances you really ever use. Well, I guess that's technically 4. Those are the only instances where you really bother using orange orbs. In every single instance, you should always trait the first one, and then orb the 2nd one, and normally orb the 3rd. Though for Epics, you shouldn't orb the 3rd, but for Legends and Mythics, you definitely do. So basically, first trait, you never orb. 2nd trait, it is worth orbing on Epics, Legends, and Mythics, and obviously the higher rarity you go, the more value you get from it. And it's worth orbing the final trait on Legends and Mythics. How do you start a new account? What platform? The method to start a new account is different for every single platform. The easiest way to do it if you are on Steam is to just create a new Steam account. And I believe the easiest way to, similarly on consoles, is basically new account as well. You basically, I know Nintendo Switch, I believe the other 2 consoles have the same thing, where you can basically have different profiles on your console, so if someone else is playing. But of course, you could just simply use that to have a different account. And just simply switch over to that profile whenever you want to play Gems of War. Or if you want to use multiple different accounts that way by having multiple different things. On Android, actually not sure what the method is for that. Do you just want to get rid of the current account you have? Or... Because if you're just looking to get rid of the current account you have for whatever reason, which there isn't really much of a point in restarting like that. But if you didn't want your current account, you could always go on PC real quick. Just download Steam, create an account real quick on Steam, get it linked and everything. Then link your lower level account that you literally just created to your mobile account. Just to have a sub account. I do not believe there is any method for switching between accounts on mobile. Not 100% certain. One thing that you could do is, I believe this works. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure this works. Create a Steam account. Make sure your mobile account is linked. Create a Steam account. Link your mobile account to your Steam account. Then create a new account through a different Steam, or however you want to go about it. You can even just do it on your platform. And then just have that overwrite your one on your mobile. And then you basically have the Steam one as your backup. You don't actually play on it, like, because you're just playing on mobile most likely. But you have it as your backup just to make sure you always have it, the information and everything for it. And then you can simply just keep switching between the two of them. You would have to, the problem with that is you would have to go into your options, go under account, and keep changing, or have to keep linking your account back and forth. But I'm pretty sure you can keep linking them back and forth indefinitely. I don't think there's any kind of restriction or anything to that, to my understanding. I've never bothered doing it through that method, but I believe through mobile, that is the only method of doing it. It's definitely the least convenient way out of any of the platforms, but I believe that's the way you would want to go about it. But yeah, then you just keep switching between your two linked accounts, basically. You just keep doing it that way. And the only reason I said to make a Steam account for them is just so you have a backup in case you accidentally forget the info or anything, just so that you would easily be able to get it without going and contacting support. Even if you only plan on mobile, it's nice to have a backup just in case. Thousand glory, very nice. Well, we didn't get any vault keys, but we're still getting good loot, if nothing else. Well, 1,000 glory is like a vault key. Let's go hand out a code. That's about as close as we're going to be getting to a vault key this stream. So let's go hand out a redeem code. And then we'll keep going until we gain one more level on hero class, and then we'll work from there. Anyways, let me go get a code. Code time! Where'd it go? Edit. Mark that down. Marky. Copy. Paste. Backspace once. Refresh. Put that right there. Copy the whole thing. And there you guys go. There's the redeem code used on gemsofwar.com underneath the game code section. Your invite code's found underneath your settings menu. Whatever your game says there. Redeem code's right over there in chat. Right over there. You guys know where it is. And gives same reward as always. Usable on every platform except for console versions. There you guys go. Hey, what do we have for tasks, by the way? Didn't even do my repick yet. Let's see. I still didn't do that Damon. I've been doing barely any of these, unless it's like a really, really easy one. Like win explore battles in any kingdom. Okay, well, that will get done automatically. Well, that's convenient. Look at that free gem key. You don't even need to go out of our way. I love when tasks are like that. Those are like the only tasks I normally do on my main account these days. Unless it's like something else that's like ridiculously good loot. I guess that other Damon one's kind of good loot, but... I pretty much only do the ones that we don't have to go out of our way at all, like whatsoever. And right now, it literally just told us to do 8 explore battles, which means, well, what we're already doing. And it will give us a free gem key for doing nothing other than what we're already doing. What is the chance for Treasure Gnome to drop Vault Key? Very low, way lower than 20%. Way lower than 20%. The chance of a gnome dropping a vault key is like 5 or 10% during a vault event. Somewhere's within that range. Probably closer to 10%. That is very, very low. It's lower than 10%, but it's pretty close to 10%. And that's any gnome, not just specifically any specific one. Not sure if they made the drop table slightly different for some of them, though. Like, some of them might have a slightly higher vault key chance, while some have slightly lower. But it averages out to slightly below 10%, to my understanding. I think, like, maybe 8% or something. Somewhere around there. During a vault event. If you think iOS is bad, you should see all the content we're missing on Switch. Yeah, Switch is currently the most behind version because it's only been going for a month now. So it's still pretty far behind every other version. But I'll give it a few months. It should hopefully be a little bit more up to date. They're likely doing version 4.3 or version 4.35 patch in the next month or so. They haven't had an official date, but I believe they're trying to get it done before the end of May. Of course, it's next month. I believe around the time that every version gets 4.35, they're giving Nintendo Switch 4.3 or 4.35, one of the two. We're still going to be behind on content, but as far as version and how it functions and everything, it should be the same version. Oh, there's our free gem key for doing literally nothing other than repicking our task. That's pretty convenient. Always great to see those. Okay, should just need another 10 minutes and we should be able to get that last level. Or not last level, but the last level for now. Wish it was the last level, still got a little bit to go. And I think we still have like 300 hours of hero classes to go as well. We're not doing that anytime soon though. But I believe if I add up the total amount of time we need to max out every hero class, it's still around 300 hours or so. And it keeps stagnating around that amount of time. Because that means I'm farming hero classes for about 28 hours or less per month. I would need that number to be higher in order for it to actually start making progress on it. Because every new hero class requires 28 hours to max. Possibly more depending on your method, but if you're doing this, it requires about 28 hours. You're doing exactly what we're doing right now. 4 gem keys, very nice, and a level. Feels like forever since we gained a level, but there we go. Got new mail as well. Oh yeah, I wish there was an in-game timer for tribute. It's something that has been asked for. That's something else to ask next Q&A for sure. Why on earth did they not have a timer for tribute? Like, they have a timer for everything these days. Yet for whatever reason, there is no timer for tribute. Pets have a timer. Every event has a timer. Actually, there's 2 things that still need a timer that do not have a timer. For whatever reasons, new mythics do not have a timer as far as how long they're going to remain in the drop table. Even though we already know that they go for a week and they start from that Friday at reset all the way until the following Friday. However, no timer for that is within the game itself. Even though most people know that, but newer players and stuff wouldn't know that. And the other factor is, yeah, tribute. For whatever reason, tribute has no timer associated to it. Even though it's probably out of every single thing that needs a timer, it's probably the most important one. But for whatever reason, it doesn't have one. So those are the 2 things that don't have a timer. Yeah, like literally everything else does. We have timer for all this stuff. We have timer for whenever there's a specific pet, one of those hourly ones. We have timer for the all the event stuff, like when the next vault event starts, or whatever the Friday event is, as well as how its duration is, as well as how long the current event is, as well as when the next event is, as well as which it doesn't actually show yet, as well as how long this will last for. Actually, no, there's not one directly here. It shows it on the event page. Even shows it for this for whatever reason. Yeah, they have timers all over the place, but the 2 that they don't have it for that are really would be useful is they don't have it for new mythics, and they don't have it for tributes. That's not what I wanted. Back to the grind. Actually, while I'm already in a bunch of screens, how much more do we need? Edit, click, glass. We need 30... What is that? 34? No, 32. 32 more battles to go. Be about another 10 minutes or so. Let's get on that grind. First Vault Key in 3 hours. Congrats. Yeah, we've been dry for about 2 hours now on Vault Keys. We have 2 total after about 5 hours. Though we have been getting plenty of 1,000 Glory drops, which sometimes is better than Vault Keys, so can't really complain about that. I think we've gotten like 5 1,000 glory drops so far this weekend. Pretty much 1 per hour on average. I mean, we already got one this hour. Because 1,000 glory drop is basically a vault key. Not directly, but it's the best drop any gnome has that isn't a vault key. It has a lot of versatility on what it can be used for, and it basically counts as like 6 gem keys. 5 or 6, depends how you look at it. Dungeon? I'm doing dungeons off stream. I will be, I might even just skip over them, just to focus on gnomes instead with the time I have. But, I don't know, we'll see. But I'll be doing them off stream regardless, if we do or do not do them. Normally during Vault event, I do tend to skip on them, just because the value we'd get from doing Vault event actually outweighs the value we'd get from even doing those daily delves on those 3 days. Okay, I'll take that down. Grab all our yellows there. And then we throw a sunbird in there. Got a vault key in the first 3 minutes. Very lucky. We had that happen before. I'm pretty sure that was the funniest time. When Glory Gnome was released in the game. I believe that was in December. Last year's December. Or, you know, several months ago. Like 4 months ago. During the time the Glory Gnome came out, we ended up opening around 20 or 30 vault keys, or however many we had saved at the time, and we didn't get Glory Gnome. Then, within like 5 minutes of actually starting to play, we got a vault key that didn't give us Glory Gnome, which was really, really hilarious. But I think that was probably the funniest time we ever got a quick vault key, and we got it into the exact drop we were trying to get. Because at the time, since we had 0 copies of it, it was something we were seeking. Obviously now we do not want any more copies of it. We've gotten like 7 or 8 useless copies of it now. Only need the 1. Now 30 battles to go. And we should be able to get about 3 per minute. Even though we don't have half mana start, it still comes out to about 3 per minute. We could push closer to 4 per minute if we actually had the half mana start, though. Or 3.5 to 4, somewhere around there. But I'm pretty sure without it, we're around 3 per minute. Any troops you need still? No. The only thing we don't own is... we own literally everything in the entire game except for the bunny from Warrens. And the only reason we don't have the pet from Warrens is because, yeah, there's just not any need to. Because we're farming it. Also, we are technically missing the Steam pet. We're missing the Android pet. And we're missing the iOS pet. However, I don't think anyone is counting any of those as full completion. Because I believe each of them costs $50. So you'd have to spend $150 to have all 3 of them. Or somewhere around there, depending on your regional equivalent. And I don't think any person is counting those for full completion. They don't even show up in the pet menu either. Let's see. Throw that over. Oh yeah, I also don't have those paw prints. They are a waste of gems to get, that is correct. There's such a waste of gems that I have 26,000 gems and I'd even go for it. That is how big of a waste of gems they are. But yeah, I would not advise going for it. For any of you that don't know, these portraits, paw prints, or these portraits, these emoticons, and the titles that you don't end up obtaining through these events will be obtainable in the future. Based on what they said during the Q&A stream about a month or 2 back, they will be added about 2 to 3 months after the fact. And portraits and titles will cost about 25 gems. And the emoji packs will cost about 125 gems. Though do keep in mind, they have not officialized any actual pricing, as Salty just confirmed 2 days ago. However, based on what the Surian and the developer said, it's going to be about 2 to 3 months after the fact. And 25 gems for portraits titles, and 125 for for emoji packs. However, that's not their finalized pricing. They could be slightly more, they could be slightly less. So if anything, they're probably going to be slightly more. But regardless of how they price it, it is still cheaper to wait than it will be. Even if this was 250 gems and that was 50 gems, it is still cheaper to wait than to buy it now. Because obviously we'd have to spend 850 gems, which is just not worth it for this game mode for Tower of Doom. It's worth it for Bounty Hunter. It's slightly worth it for raids and evasions. However, for this game mode, it definitely is not worth it to bother spending that much just to get that. Because you don't really need any of these other perks other than that, and you're basically spending 850 gems. We can wait a few months just to get it for what should be 150 gems or less, ideally. But it should only cost 150 gems to get those later, but it costs 850 gems to try to get it now. Tier 4 is normally as far as you ever need to go in Tower of Doom, and even that you don't even necessarily need. I still like doing it so we have more battles during the week, during like Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday at the start of the week. There's pets that are exclusive to certain platforms. Yeah, there's a Steam one. There's a let me see if I can go get the link for it real quick. I don't think it's showing up on the store page correctly yet on the Steam version. I'm not sure how they're running it on iOS or Android, though I have heard people mention of it. But let me go see if I can find a Steam one real quick. Let's go to Games Library, store page. Let's see. Does it show on store page? No, it still does not show on store page. However, there is a way to still find it, though. It's kind of hidden, I guess, right now. But that's really weird that's not on store page. However, it does exist. Let me go get the link. Where'd it go? Oh, do I not have the link for it anymore? Oh, no, I have the link right here. There it is. It's not worth it, I would say. It might be if it went on sale for like 50%. For $25, the pack might be worth it. But, I don't know. I personally wouldn't spend 50 on that. I might ask the devs if I'm going to get all three just so I can go over them to actually show them and stuff. But there's the link to the Steam one if you, for whatever reason, want to get it. I wouldn't really advise it, but it is there if you want it. It comes with 50 gem keys, enough copies to get it to Mythic, and you get an exclusive pet that basically no one can have unless you spend money on it. Though it is technically people on the PC mobile version have all three of them. So obviously no one on PC mobile would be able to have the Xbox One or the PS4 one if they bothered to add them yet. Also, I don't think I ever showed them on screen. Let me go show them real quick what all 5 of the pets look like for any of you that want to see. I don't think I ever bothered showing them all on screen. But we do know what their art looks like. Let me see. Where'd it go? Pets. Let's see. If I type in the word exclusive, we'll bring it up. Let me see. Where are these things hidden? Oh, I want all pets, not just those. Here's the all pet section. Show all pets. Let's see. Where are they buried? Are they all in one section, or do I have to go and scroll through them a bunch? There's a random one. Oh yeah, if I type in exclusive, it might bring it up. They all seem to have exclusive on it. So there's an Android one, there's a Steam one, and there's an Xbox one. So apparently PS4 does not have one for whatever reason, and iOS does not have one for whatever reason. Weird. Yeah, that means there's 2 pets on PC Mobile that are exclusive only to PC Mobile. The one on Android and the one on Steam. That one that I just showed the link for, and the other one. And there's also one for Xbox, apparently. But yeah, let me go show them real quick. Let me get a screen up for them. Where'd it go? One moment. They're pointless pets, though. I wouldn't bother with them. But, let me bring them up real quick. Where'd they go? Also, obviously, all of them are cosmetic. They don't give any bonuses. I'm looking for window capture. There it is. That is the correct window. Okay, so this is the Android one. That is what it looks like. It basically almost looks like the Android little thingy, except it's a robot on a little kind of like tank-like thing. And of course, these are cosmetic. So there's that. That's what the Android looks like. Actually, we might as well bring all three up. Let's see, we got that one. We got the one for Steam, which was just on that link, and then there's the one for Xbox. These are what they look like. This is the Android one. This is the one for Steam, and this is the one for Xbox. But yeah, I believe they're actually charging like $50, but it does come with 50 gem keys and the pet all the way to Mythic. I think it came with pet food too. I forget. But it's definitely not worth it. Maybe on a 50% sale for $25, it might be worth it, questionably. But yeah, it basically gives you 20 gems because you're upgrading the pets, a random orb because you're upgrading the pet, and 50 gem keys, and of course the exclusive pet thingy. It's not really that worth it, but that's what they look like. And there's only 3 of them currently for whatever reason. So Switch doesn't have one, which makes sense because it's so dated. PS4 doesn't have one, and iOS doesn't have one. So technically iOS can still have the other 2, because you can still play on Android and you can still play on Steam and get them that way. Oh, okay, it has a different reward on Android, my bad. Yeah, the Steam version comes with 50 gem keys. I guess the reward for different platforms is slightly different. Yeah, $50 is excessively pricey for it. If it was $25 or less, I would say it's worth it, possibly. But at $50 is way too pricey. Yeah, as far as purchases in the game, there's really only 2 that are considered excessively worth it. It is Death Knight armor, which is probably like the best value of anything, and those daily deals, or not those daily deals, but those little flash offers they've been running. Not all of them are excessively worth it, but the one they're running right now is tied at the best, or literally the best, that they ever offer. They seem to be doing it during every vault event, where basically you can buy for only $2 100 gems and 1 vault key, which is insanely good value. Because each vault key, on average, of course you could get bad luck, but on average it's worth about 80 gems worth of loot, I would say, personally. And then, of course, you get the 100 gems. And even just looking at the gem values, that's 500 gems for $5, which comes out to 100 gems per, or I mean 50 gems per dower. And anything that's 50 gems per dower or better, as far as the exchange rate for this game, tends to be basically the going price of buying gems. Of course, you can still obtain plenty for free. Single gem from that pile we've accumulated for free. But, yeah, the offers like this actually are worth it. But it's just that and Death Knight armor about the only ones. That and maybe like that Ring of Wonder, if you really wanted to power grind on a given month. But anyways, guys, does anyone else have any other questions? I think I might start ending out for now. But ideally, if I have the time later tonight, I do want to go and get Hero to level 99. Then we finish it out to level 100 at the beginning of next stream. And then we start working on Warden Hero class. Start getting that to at minimum level 70 and, you know, start getting that to like 80, 90, and just going from there. I ideally want it to be maxed before next 2 Fridays from now. I want to have it maxed before then. So within the next 2 weeks. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get it that far. But at minimum, want to get it to like 80, 85, not a little bit further. Yes, the stream does keep going down for a short duration of time. What is causing that, I do not know. I'm going to see if switching streaming program and getting, basically making it so I don't need as many tabs open is going to reduce that lag or that disconnect. Also going to try setting my settings that I have for how the stream is set up slightly differently. See if that makes a bit of an impact. But hopefully that will fix it. If that does not, it's either my computer or my connection. Most likely my connection. But we're going to work on one at a time and see if we can pinpoint what on earth is causing it. Oh, it's more than $50. You would need to spend $100 because technically both the Android and the Steam one are on every version of PC Mobile. Since they're cross-platform, you'd be able to get both of them. So you have to spend $100 now to have 100% completion on PC mobile. However, no one actually counts those pets as required for 100% completion. So if you technically wanted like absolute 100% completion, I guess, yeah, technically they do. Also, another thing that's not counted for 100% completion is the pet that we have on our shoulder right now. You do not need max prestige for 100% completion. It is something that technically can be obtained, but is not required for it. Basically, the easiest way to tell is, does it show up when you click on owned? And obviously it doesn't. Neither of those two platform-specific ones show up, nor does the pet that we have on our shoulder. The prestige pet also does not show up here if you click on unowned. It's basically the easiest way to tell what's actually counted towards 100% completion, technically. If it doesn't show there, it's technically not needed. And all three of those do not show there. All of the exclusive platform pets, as well as the one for max prestige, are not required. So technically, if you are truly 100% completion, yeah, I guess technically they are. However, there's no possible way you could ever own the Xbox pet on PC mobile. That is literally impossible. At least until they eventually get cross-platform. That until then is literally impossible, unless they literally just hand it to your account, which I highly doubt they will never do. Even if I asked for that, they wouldn't do it for me. I could probably get them to at least do the one for the other two, since this account could theoretically have it, just so I could show it for a video and go over them. And just bring it to their attention that they exist, but still mention that they're not worth it. Not sure if they would want that, but hey, it doesn't hurt asking. Because I always give my honest opinion about them. Even if they do give it to me for free, I always give my honest opinion on what I feel about the packs, on if they are or not worth it. And they definitely aren't unless they go on at least 50% sale or more. Let's see, we'll move that over. Grab Sunbird down. And we throw this at it, and that'll be that. But anyways, guys, does anyone else have any other questions? Oh, the Drew asked one more, but if anyone else knows any other ones, let me know. Otherwise, we'll be wrapping up in the next battle or two. Let's see. If you watch chat on just your tablet or phone, would that help maybe? Or if you get, well, I don't have a tablet or phone, so go figure. Well, I have a Nintendo Switch, which is kind of like a tablet, but obviously it doesn't have the full functionality of a tablet. But, no, I don't have a phone or tablet. And the main reason I just don't have a phone is because I don't really need it for work. And if I don't need it for work, I just consider it an expense. Same reason I don't have a car. I don't need a car for any means of work that I have. So I really don't have a need for a car. Because, why? If I need to go somewhere, I could just pay for something like a Uber or a taxi or, you know, anything like that. I don't, or just hitch a ride with someone or anything, you know, call friends, things like that. If I really needed a ride or just walk, both of those two things I don't really consider as a necessity. I know most people in the modern age these days do consider those things as necessities for most things, mainly because they need it for work. But I don't know, my means of work doesn't have it, so I just don't have them just as to not have it as an expense. I might eventually get a phone. But unless I can find a way to make money off it, I probably would never bother getting a phone. It just seems too expensive to bother having, personally. Just because of how minimally I would use it to actually chat with people. Things like Discord, Telegram, and other messaging systems on PC is basically the same thing as texting. Why would you need a phone for it? But anyways, guys, I'll catch all of you later. Goodbye, everyone!